A wonderful day for everyone. This is yours truly, Ira Joy B. Villamil from UMS 12 Socrates, and I will be reporting for contemporary Philippine arts from the region. You are assigned to choose a topic from our Module 2 that interests us the most, and I chose Lesson 3, Contemporary Art Forms, Element and Principle, specifically films. So, the topics covered in today's discussion are what is film, elements of film, forms and types of film. So, let us start off with this quote. This is a quote from Ansel Adams. He said, "Not everybody trusts painting, but people believe in photographs." And I quote, "Not everybody trusts paintings, but people believe in photograph, so what more if the photograph moves such as films?" So let us start. Finally, this is the real start. And what is film? So for you, when you see something on television or in Facebook, a video, you think it's a film. Yes, it can be, but according to our module, film refers to the sequence of moving pictures shown in television or in cinema. And it also says that filmmaking became an industry in the Philippines during the 1950s. So we knew that contemporary includes the year 1960, so this is 1950s, but it is included because that is the transition period from modern to contemporary arts in the Philippines. So, in addition, in 1950s, it is labeled as the first golden age of Philippine cinema. For big production, such as LVN Pictures, Sampaguita Pictures, Premier Productions, and Lebran International were at the peak of their filmmaking, employing premier directors like Gerardo de Leon, Eddie Romero, and Cesar Gallardo. So, let us move on to the elements of film. According to our module, there are two elements of film. This is, namely, time and techniques of cinema. So in time, this is considered as the most significant element of cinema. I searched that time can be the structuring of time. For example, the increasing of time, the expansion or the slowdown. It gives the audience a moment to think or the internalize and realize what they are watching. Also, there is decreased time, where it is collapsed or sped up, such as the motions that are fast-forwarded, quick shots, and something that occurred months like flashbacks. And then there is also real time, that is TV show 24 series episodes. So, in addition with the time is, like, the saying, timing is everything. Same goes with filmmaking. So, the elements of films. The techniques of cinema consist cutting or editing. Cutting or editing involves one shot with another, making sure that these two are connected. So, we all knew we are editing our videos. Same goes with filmmaking. They are cutting and editing in order for them to get the perfect shot, get the perfect sequence. And then next is the camera movement. This is done in order to have a smoother change of view, such as the transitions. Like, you know what, this filmmaking is already a, what you call them, mulat na tayo. Like, in our apps, we can do filmmaking, but iba pa rin yung gawa ng mga professional filmmakers. And next is framing. This helps bringing balance to the film as it is being viewed. So, framing, this is what should be in the frame. Should it be there? Should it be there? What should be in there? So, this gives the emphasis, the story, And you know what? This techniques of cinema gives eye-catching and aesthetic. Next. Next is the forms and types of films. So for now, we'll break the ice and guess the jumbled words. This. Anetch itech. Clue. Ha 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 ha. This is a form or types of film. So the words are ikmeod. Yes, you've guessed it right. This is comedy. Comedy is introduced to us to bring laughter to the audience. So, an example of that is this, Ang Tanging Ina Mo from II. And it is a long time with series comedic film that is famous here in the Philippines. There are also a lot of different comedy films in the Philippines. I just put this because why not? Next, Roar. ROOHRR. Anetch itech clue. So, this is horror. Horror is shown to bring fear in the audience. So, my example here is Otlum. I just want to share something. Back then, 2018, Otlum is so famous. The exchanging the order of words. So, back then, we were talking about Otlum, me and my friends. And then, I told them, ano bang meaning ng Otlum? Is it a French or something word na scary yung meaning? So, alam nyo, sabi nila sa akin, ano ka ba? Otlum, binaliktad lang yon. Otlum, multo. So, yun. Share ko lang. And then, next, this. Mabo. Anetch itech clue, naked. So, siguro naririnig nyo to sa mga nanay nyo noon. Pag mga naked kayo. Any guess? Hindi na kasi siya sikat ngayon nowadays. Hindi na siya kita dito sa Philippine film industry. So, this is bomba. Kaya, naririnig nyo yung mga parents natin dati, pag nakabatay, ano ba yan? Para kang bomba star dyan. Ganon. Kasi before, there is bomba, a type of film that depicts nudity and sex, but is different from X-rated pornography. So, my example here is Maria Isabela Lopez and Ana Marie Gutierrez, Wag Pamarisan Kulasi. That is a bomba film. And you know what? Back then, there's a law that protects women even more. And slowly and gradually, bomba films were not tolerated anymore since there's a law. And it is disappearing from the Philippine industry. Next. Kaonsi. Anetch itech clue. Bugsh bang. Ang corny ko, sorry. So, that. Any guess? And yes, you've guessed it right. This is action or action. Action uses conflict as emphasis based on real-life stories or actual experiences of person and based on the tradition of metrical, romance, or literary commedia. So, the most famous action nowadays in our generation, I don't know why, but this is the longest running time action here, FPJs ang Provinciano. So, before, it is started by FPJ, but ilang taon na yata si Coco Martin, ang FPJ's Provinciano niya sa ABS-CBN. 4 years, I guess. So, that is action. Next, moving on. Anetch itech, anfasti, clue, pashneya. Yan din So, yes, you've guessed it right. Napakadali. This is fantasy. Fantasy depicts scenes in an imaginary world. So, here in our world we live in, wala namang mga sangre, wala namang mga hator. Kaya, Encantadia is a fantasy film that depicts imaginary world. And next, Armda, Anech Itech, Clue, Who. And yes, you've guessed it right. This is drama. So, drama is a motion that dwells on personal problems and conflicts which draws sentiment and emotion. So, itong quarantine, sikat na sikat to. Through the night and day, the story is about the couple. Through the night and day, they are together with their problems, and eventually, one of them had cancer. So, it brought the audience to tears. That's why it is categorized as drama. Next, we're nearing to its end. To Ikto al-Hisr, Anech Itech, Clue, Past. Super easy. And yes, you've guessed it right. This is historical. Anech Itech, historical films, shows actual events that occurred in the past. So, my favorite historical film is General Luna. Even though I've watched this for several times, it's still my favorite. It's good. I cried for this movie. Bayan o sarili, pumili ka. Ang kalaban ng mga Pilipino ay ang ating sarili. That's my favorite line. Next, Odiku, Anech Itech, True to Life. Favorite ko din to. And yes, you've guessed it right. This is docu or documentary. Documentaries is a motion picture that narrates news events or explain other subject matter based on facts. So, my favorite docu here in the Philippines is Eyewitness. So, alam niyo ba, sa Eyewitness, there are 8 documentaries that are internationally acclaimed. Number 1 from that, Sydney for Sale and Ambulansyang Dipa, where they transport parang duyan. They're transporting the patient into the city clinic because there are no clinics in their vicinity. And then, Zelda Inocente, this is very timely. But it happens before na. This is a story about a mother who are breastfeeding their children inside the prison. And then, there is also Boy Pusit, Butot Balat, School Ko, Number 1, Busal, and Silang Kinalimutan. So, that is. I recommend you documentaries. Super. Next. Tao na Nimi. Anech Itech anime. Very easy. And yes, you've got it right. This is animation. This is a film that involves creating illustration or inanimate image and bringing them to life. So, you know, animation here in the Philippines is so cheap na tinatawag nila. That's why when we watch Victor Magtanggol, mga ganon, they are laughing because of the illustration. But you know what? If you search, there are several animations here in the Philippines that are worth watching. And very good animations. Kudos to the illustrators. And one of them is the Saving Sally. This is Saving Sally, a very typical love story. And this is starred by Miss Rian Ramos. All other characters are animation and their backgrounds, but they are, based on real places here in the Philippines. But the bidas, Sally and her partner, are actors. So for the last one in our module, we have Penry Metallics, Anech Itech Clue, never done before in cinema. Yes, you may guess it right. This is experimental. So, let us move our camera here. So, experimental film attempts to create something innovative or is never done before with camera. So, this is the example as I search through the web. Himala by Nola Odor and Oro Plata Mata. These films, I am not quite familiar with them since they are made before, long before. And you know what? This film is quite famous even now. They are nababanggit. But it says that experimental films are developed here in the Philippines by Experimental Cinema of the Philippines, which was government-owned corporation. And it is created to promote the growth and development of local film industry. I learned that experimental films were made non-conformant to the traditional format of films. So, it is innovative and it creates something new, something that is yet to offer to the current Filipino films. And you know what? Most people say that our Filipino cinematic is cliche, predictable happenings, predictable sequences, predictable lines. But you know what? There is hope for our films, and let us not discourage the filmmakers of the Philippines. So that's it. Thank you so much. If there are errors or suggestions, you may comment it down below. And that's it for my video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So here's my YouTube, Villamil, Facebook at IraV, and Instagram at IraBells. See you there! Bye! Hope you enjoyed this video.